kicking for you like it's 9-3. You see, Rob impact the mic, keeping it real, G. Talk about relationships, money, and health. Dropping knowledge while I'm spitting it, that's a wealth.
Complex conversations, we break it down. Pop culture topics, we hold it down. Dive deep into society's complexities. Educate, entertain, never rest in it. Complex
Context, where the truth unfolds. Analyzing life through stories untold. Rob impact, dropping knowledge every day.
Unpacking life's complexities, one topic at a time. You're listening to Complex Context. Here is your host, Rob Impact.
My name is Rob Impact, and this is Complex Context. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy Memorial Day weekend to check us out once again on your favorite podcast service. We are very grateful for your time and your attention, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But again, Memorial Day weekend, for those of us in the United States, we have the opportunity to attend or throw a lot of cookouts and familial gatherings, and I was definitely a part of that on a multitude of levels. But most importantly, I do want to give my thanks to those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. And though we are at, in my opinion, kind of a funky time societally in the United States, I think we still need to be firm and appreciative of all of the freedoms that we typically take for granted and really have and continue to have at the expense of those who pay the ultimate price. So thank you so much. You have no idea how much it means to me and to those who I surround myself with. We are most appreciative of those who made the ultimate sacrifice. And really, the families of those who have fallen, I cannot give my thanks and gratitude enough for your endurance through the pain and the suffering. And on behalf of anybody who listens to this, thank you, and thanks to your loved ones who served and paid that ultimate price for us. So thank you so much. We give our best here at Complex Context to you during this Memorial Day celebration. Now, how was your week? My week has been pretty good. I can't complain one bit. It has been chock full of activities. And though this isn't necessarily a full episode in terms of maybe the length that we normally provide, I still wanted to get a little something to you because Memorial Day weekend, there's a lot of celebrating, there's a lot of parades, there's remembrance, like I said, there's gatherings, and it kind of makes our schedules a little wonky for the rest of the week, so we figured, let's get a little something out there to you, and here I am. What did I do since our last episode? Well, my daughter had her dance recital. Oh my goodness, she was just fantastic. I was so proud of her and so proud of the entire dance team that did a fantastic job. I was thoroughly entertained. I think it might have been her dance studio's best overall recital since she's been a part of them. And I want to give my thanks to everyone over at Bridget's Dance Studio here in Massachusetts. They did a fantastic job. And I know that there was an auditorium full of equally entertained people. It's a hard thing to do. And though we look at that sometimes when kids compete in athletics or competitions that involve their mental or physical capabilities being put to the test, sometimes we take it for granted because we look at these things more often than not and say, well, they're just expanding their horizons and they're keeping busy and they're No. It's no less important or skillful than an adult participating. So I really want to give my sincere thanks and appreciation to those who participate in things like dance of various kinds. I know my daughter has been doing ballet and jazz and hip-hop, and there's so much more beyond that. So if you happen to do that and you're involved in something that really takes your physical or your mental gifts that you have honed, congratulations. You are doing some awesome stuff for our culture and our entertainment and keep up with it, because I think those things have to be part of the backbone of us continuing to march forward through all the muck and all of the craziness of the world. That was a really good time. In addition to that, we had a Memorial Day weekend cookout, which our family has put on for a number of years. I can't tell you how many we're up to. We had a lot of great people over, family, friends. A big shout out to Liv Kazoo, my bestie, who came over, fell flat on her ass after she broke one of my chairs. Yeah, the back, I believe, left leg completely broke off the chair. I just heard a big gasp from a bunch of people, turned around, and there she is, legs in the air, looking around like, what just happened? Yes, Liv, I just put this out there. And that's only because we have lots of love and appreciation for you. She is awesome, but she took it like a champ, and I really felt bad for her. So my apologies, Liv. I'll make sure that I get halfway decent chairs for our next gathering, because I don't want to see you back on the floor or back on the ground of my yard. That's all quite all right. Though I did have a good laugh for a second, but I'm just more happy that you were okay. And now that I know that, now I can, in retrospect, laugh my backside off at it. So that was a wonderful little extra out of the whole deal. I was not expecting that. I mean, who the heck would? And unfortunately, I got a chance to break in a new grill. And you might be saying, well, why is that unfortunate? Well, the grill that I had is normally kept in our shed, and unfortunately we found a family of mice that somehow worked their way into my probably 2 to 3 year old shed. I don't know how that happened. We keep it locked. The window was shut. We cannot identify any openings that are worthy of having any kind of animal crawl in there. I don't know how they got in there, but what I thought was originally just mice making a nest in the grill, which for the amount of work that they did, there was no degree of sanitation that was going to make me feel good about reusing it. So we said, okay, we had it for a long time. We got our money's worth out of it. Let's get another one. So that was an unforeseen expense that I wasn't too thrilled about having to reach in the pocket for, but knowing that people were coming over, I said, you know what? Let's just do it. It's the right thing to do. And as we were clearing out the shed, unfortunately, I came across more mice that were hiding in various corners and all that. I'm going to give an update as we move forward, and I'll let you know how that goes, because we set some traps, we sprayed some peppermint oil around. Oh, these, whatever could be left, and I don't believe there's any left, but if there are any that think that they're going to sneak in, they have no chance. And it's not my preference to catch mice and to be the cause of them not scurrying around anymore. But when I can't find any way that they have infiltrated my shed and took over and chewed through a couple of fabric chairs, we do have to take the proper steps to protect our stuff, because we lost a few things, not just a grill, but like I said, some chairs, some other items as well. It's just, it's not something I like doing, but it was really a disappointment to see, especially for something that was built so well. So those mice were sneaky, but having to make that investment and get a new grill, once I bit the bullet and I put the grill together, that was the unfortunate part, just having to kind of swallow the pride and say, all right, you got to pony up the money. You have really no other choice because of how bad the other one was. Once I got it together and tested it out, oh man, is it beautiful. I really enjoyed the new grill, and I like it because the firebox portion isn't all one whole piece of metal. And by that I mean you can slide the bottom of it out, so that way there's no animals, no rodents that could come in and build a nest, because you're basically taking what is the floor of the nest out. And I thought that was super cool. I didn't even realize that until after I got it. I messed around with that for a little bit, had a sacrificial hamburger and got some grease on it, broke it in real well, and that thing cooked beautifully. It was basically a one-to-one of the old grill I had, but just an updated model. Propane. I tried the charcoal thing before. Wasn't really doing it for me. It's such a work to get it going and to keep it going and to not have your food tasting like charbroil. So, needless to say, it was a fantastic get-together, and I'm very appreciative of that and for all of us to be together and know that it is, in part, large part, to the sacrifices that those before us made to be able to do that. So, happy Memorial Day, everybody. As far as the rest of the cookout, it was my first time in a long time that I got to enjoy a cigar, and I very rarely would have one. It's really a treat, as I believe it should be. Some people like to have it more often than not, and if I'm going to be completely honest, though I know all of it is not good for you, I would rather people smoke a cigar or smoke something else than cigarettes, but that's just me. I'm not expecting you to agree with me. With that said, I had a great cigar experience. Oh, it just hit the spot. It was after I ate, after I had some beverages, and was just sitting down talking to some people. Everybody who has the opportunity to enjoy a cigar and is not opposed to it, I would definitely recommend it. The whole cigar game, though, in itself can be a little complicated, and because of that, I feel it's probably intimidating to some who would like to try and maybe is interested in enjoying one every so often, but probably says, where do I start? Or what's the criteria I should be looking for? And there are sources out there that you can go to, some good resources online, but even with that, there's so many that it's hard to know which is the most reliable and which is really looking out for your best experience. So if you have any questions, but more so any suggestions about enjoying a good cigar, please reach out to us. I'm going to give you that information in a little bit. I also got the opportunity to give a very special little guy his first train set and help him set it up. And as a person that set up a pretty significant layout myself in my basement, and boy, was that a labor of love. I'm happy to share and see the continued enjoyment of something like model trains being enjoyed by folks much younger than I am, but that has nothing to do with it. The whole thing is about just enjoying the experience and being able to talk trains and just have fun with it. So that was super cool. It made me feel good knowing that the special friend of mine in our family feels just as good having it now. So that was one of definitely the highlights of my celebratory weekend, if you will. I do want to give a shout to our listeners. You guys have been doing so awesome with your support and your listenership. I'm seeing it, and it really is humbling, so thank you so much for that. Shout, as always, to our folks in the United States. You are really just the backbone of all of the listeners that come back time after time, and it's super appreciated. A shout going to Rhode Island, California, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and of course Massachusetts. Everybody has been just super great and supportive. And I also want to give an international shout out to folks coming back from France. So thank you, France. I see you. Hopefully your weekend was just as enjoyable, if not more than mine. And a huge shout out to the first time seeing folks from Russia listening to our podcast. Thank you so much, everyone in Russia who happens to be part of the Complex Context audience. It really is an awesome thing to see, and feel free to let us know if there's anything you'd like to have discussed, or maybe you would like a topic that we could answer and dive into together. Now, I keep saying if you want to reach out or if you have a suggestion or all this stuff, I should probably give you that information. You can always listen to all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts. We are on 11 different podcast services, but we also have all episodes on our homepage, which is brought to you by our wonderful hosting folks over at Podbean. Hey, Podbean, how are you? Podbean is the host and distributor of Complex Context and our official homepage where you can always check out information about the show, about yours truly, your host, Rob Impact, and get the spread of episodes. We are at complexcontext.podbean.com. You can also send us your emails at complexcontextshow@yahoo.com. And as I've said before, and I'll say it again, we have no shame when we're talking about social media, specifically the X platform, formerly Twitter, for those who don't know. And yes, I'm still kind of semi under protest, but I'm trying to keep up with it. So we are on X at Complex Context 1. That's the number 1. And we are also on Facebook. Look us up, Complex Context 1. We are a page. We are not necessarily a person profile, so make sure that you check out our page on Facebook. I don't want you to be searching for somebody named Complex Context. It just won't work out, I promise you. Thank you, everybody. You're more than welcome to reach out with your feedback, your suggestions, recommendations, topics for future episodes, all that, and a whole bunch more. And like I said, we wanted to make sure that we got a little bit of content to you for this week, but again, with a lot of people in the United States whose schedule is a little bit out of sorts because of Memorial Day, we're not going to have as lengthy of an episode this week. I'm sure you understand. We're all playing catch-up, that awkward catch-up where when we have a day off, it's not really a day off because I know when we go back to our respective work and we're trying to accomplish as much as we can, I don't know about you, but consistently for me, year after year, month after month, holiday after holiday, that we do celebrate and is observed. It's not really a day off. It's really a day deferred. And I'm totally expectant of that tomorrow and for the remainder of this week. Unfortunately, we have in this country a tendency of saying, hey, we're going to celebrate a holiday and everybody will have a day off or we'll have a day and a half and go spend time with your family, have fun, celebrate as you may. But there is no mention that when you come back, we typically, for many industries, I don't want to say every single one, but many industries try to cram a whole week's worth of work into the remaining business days that are operating during a holiday week where we would normally take one of those days away. And it never really works out well. I don't know if that's just me or how much relatability there is, but I would love to hear how you and your place of employment handles holiday celebrations and what's it like coming back? Are you able to focus on your work as regularly as you would during a normal work week? Or do you have this kind of day deferred syndrome that I seem to experience holiday after holiday, where you're really just cramming a day and a quarter worth of work into a day, or maybe a day and a third, depending on what's left on the agenda before you go into a holiday weekend. So let me know, what is that like for you? Is that relatable, or do you have it kind of just like you would any other day? ComplexContextShow@yahoo.com, at ComplexContext1 on X and Facebook. Thank you so much for taking the time as always. I appreciate you. I hope that you and your week continues to be a good one, not just for those of us celebrating Memorial Day in the United States, but also internationally. Much love and peace to you. I hope you have moments of Zen far beyond what I could provide on this podcast. But just know that I'm also reaching for those same moments of Zen, and I know together that we'll continue to look after each other and for the love and support that is so important to get ourselves going and keep our motivation up, keep our spirits up, and let's do that once again. From the bottom of my heart, thank you to those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. May your legacy and memory continue to live on, and much love going out to the families of those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Thanks again. Catch me on X as I usually find myself going to every so often for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hopefully for the good more often than not. My recommendation, make sure you get a plethora of doggy videos during your day. You'll be much better for it. I'm Rob Impact. Do what you do it often, do it well. Just don't do anything I wouldn't do and you'll be doing all right. I'll catch up with you next time.
Visit the show's website at complexcontext.podbean.com. Complex Context is a Mass Ed Media production.